Welcome to Mega Division and welcome to Timeless Talk. Today we're going back 49 years to talk to Bruce Lee. Welcome, Bruce. To start off with, how important was martial arts in your life at the start of your career?
Well, I mean, definitely in the beginning I had no intention or whatsoever that what I was practicing and what I'm still practicing now would lead to this to begin with. But martial art has a very, very deep meaning as far as my life is concerned because as an actor, as a martial artist, as a human being, all these I have learned from martial art. You see, to me, at least the way that when I teach it, all type of knowledge ultimately means self-knowledge. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they are coming in and ask me to teach them not so much of how to defend themselves or how to do somebody in. Rather, they want to learn to express themselves through some movement, be it anger, be it determination, or whatsoever. So in other words, what I'm saying, therefore, is that he is paying me to show him in combative form the art of expressing the human body.
Would you say that philosophy, art and sport are actually intertwined? We're seeing it more and more these days where people use psychologists, sportsmen use psychologists to enforce them and to motivate them. Back in your day, this wasn't very prevalent, but would you say that those three are a marriage?
You have to, you see, because, I mean, that is the expression of the human body. I mean, everything, I mean, not just the hand. I mean, it might sound too philosophical, but it's unacting, acting, or acting, unacting. To me, okay, to me, ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do. Very hard to do, and you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving. And when you move, you are determined to move. Not taking 1 inch, not anything less than that. If I want to punch, I'm going to do it, man, and I'm going to do it, you see. So, I mean, so that is the type of thing you have to train yourself into it, to become one with the...
You were in a few episodes of Long Street opposite James Franciscus, and that really broke you into Hollywood. It really caused a sensation. And even now, 49 years later, people are still talking about it. Why do you think your role in Long Street was so definitive? Why did it have such a great response?
The title of that particular episode of Long Street is called The Way of the Intercepting Fist. Favorable mentioning in like New York Times, which says like the Chinaman who incidentally came off quite convincingly enough to earn himself a television series and so on and so on and so forth.
The lines you said in that episode, Be Like Water, they've become synonymous with you as your philosophy. And even to this day, 49 years later, most people that are searching on YouTube, that are looking for quotes from you, always look for that quote, always look for those lines that you said. Do you recall them?
This is what it is. I said, empty your mind, like that, you see?
One of the ideas that you came up with 49 years ago, The Warrior, actually was made in 2019. That must be a phenomenal proud moment for you, that so many years after your death that it has still been realized. Can you go back and tell me at that time, 49 years ago, when you were thinking of it, what was the thinking, and was it already in the works at that time?
That was the original idea. Now, Paramount, I did Long Street for Paramount, and Paramount wants me to be in a television series. On the other hand, Warner Brother wants me to be in another one, but both of them, I think, they want me to be in a modernized type of a thing. And they think that Western idea is out.
Do you think part of the reason Warrior took so long to come to the screen was that in your day, there was skepticism about whether a Chinese hero would be accepted by the American audience?
Well, such question has been raised. In fact, it is being discussed, and that is why The Warrior is not going to be on.
I see.
You see, because unfortunately, such thing does exist in this world. You see, like, I don't know, certain part of the country, right, where like they think that business-wise it's a risk. And I don't blame them. I mean, in the same way, it's like in Hong Kong, if a foreigner come and became a star, if I were the man with the money, I probably would have my own worry of whether or not the acceptance would be there. But that's all right, because if you honestly express yourself, it doesn't
There's
matter.
some criticism that perhaps at times you were too westernized for the East, for the Chinese market. Would you say that? Since your day, obviously we've had people like Jackie Chan come through, and a lot of people have emerged thanks to your contribution. But do you think that there was validity in that were you perhaps too westernized?
How? I have been criticized for that.
You have, eh?
Oh, yes, definitely. So. Well, let me say this. When I do the Chinese film, I'll try my best not to be as American as I, have been adjusted to for the last 12 years in the States. But when I go back to the States, it seems to be the other way around. You know what I mean, man?
There is so much going on in the world now in 2020, and China is coming to the forefront more and more. More people are becoming aware of China and America, and that. What are your thoughts of this? What do you see happening?
I mean, once the opening of China, I mean, that it will bring more understanding.
Yeah.
More things that are, different, and maybe in the contrast of comparison, some new thing might grow. So therefore, I mean, it's a very rich period to be in.
How do you feel about being seen as a superstar? I mean, your legacy has transcended your lifetime, and you are still a huge motivation in people's lives.
The word superstar really turned me off, and I'll tell you why. Because the word star, man, is an illusion. It's something what the public calls you. You should look upon oneself as an actor, man. I mean, you would be very pleased if somebody say, "Hey, man, you are a super actor." It is much better than, super.
Do you think of yourself as Chinese or American? How do you see yourself?
You know what I want to think of myself? As a human being. Because, I mean, I don't want to sound like, as Confucius say, but under the sky, under the heaven, man, there is but one family. It just so happened, man, that people are different.
Thank you, Bruce Lee, and thank you for joining us here on Timeless Talk. I would like to also say thank you to you on behalf of your millions of fans worldwide, living and dead. As a child, you were one of my heroes. I still saw you in Johnny Soccer and his flying robot, something that not many people know or realize that you were in that as a little boy. And then I saw you in Longstreet as well. And I always loved Bruce Lee, the persona. And I would like to thank you. That's 2020 now, all these years later, but you are still immensely popular. You still mean a lot to many, many people in the world, especially at this very difficult time. We're going through a pandemic, and there are frictions between a lot of people. It's great to be reminded that someone like you, back in the 1970s, stepped up and said you want to be remembered as part of the human race, of being human, because we are all human, as you just said. And that is wonderful. It's wonderful to be reminded of that fact. And on behalf of all your fans, even to this day, people still searching, they're still loving you, they're still looking for you, they still want to hear you speak. And that is wonderful. If we could all just be a little bit more like Bruce Lee, find our little Bruce Lee inside ourselves, the world would be a better place. And I think we all need that at the moment. And thank you for reminding us, and thank you for joining us on Timeless Talk. And thank you for joining us on Timeless Talk. If you like the concept, if you'd like to see more interviews, please comment about what you saw, and if you like it, share it. Subscribe to the channel Mega D Vision. If you want to see more, let me know.